All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, one round of the postseason in the National Football League is in the books. And, for some, it was an exciting weekend of football last weekend, and for others, it wasn't. But the bottom line is the better teams prevailed in each contest. Now it's time to get down to the nitty gritty. We're on to the divisional round, and only four teams will survive after tomorrow night. Who will those four teams be? Well, that is what I am here to talk about. Now, today you're going to have the Cincinnati Bengals traveling to Nashville to take on the Tennessee Titans. And for the Bengals, they got over a huge hump as an organization last week as they secured their first playoff victory since the 1990 NFL season. You look at the way that quarterback Joe Burrow is playing this season, and honestly, Joe Burrow is showing that he is the real deal. He is showing why he deserved to be the number one overall pick in the 2020 NFL draft. And he is also showing why he was a catalyst in helping LSU win the national title a couple of years ago in college football. He is going to be the key to this game. So I look at this Titans defense. They're going to have to neutralize the connection with Joe Burrow and wide receiver Jamar Chase. So it's going to come down not just to this Tennessee secondary, but also to their front seven. Will they be able to get enough pressure on Burrow? Will they keep this Bengals offense in second and third and long situations enough to kind of dictate the pace? We'll have to wait and see. But on the flip side, for the Titans, they have their ace in the hole back, and I'm talking about running back Derrick Henry. He missed about half of the season with that foot injury. The Titans were hopeful that he would be back for the playoffs, and here he is. And it's also helpful to Tennessee's case that they received the first round bye, which gave him the opportunity to get a little healthier. But even though that Derrick Henry is a big portion of what the Titans do, this game is going to come down offensively for Tennessee to the right arm of Ryan Tannehill. And I say that because if you look at the Titans' last two playoff losses, their opponents were able to neutralize Derrick Henry and make Ryan Tannehill beat them with his arm. Now, if that is the case, the Titans do have the receivers with A.J. Brown and Julio Jones to get this done, but Ryan Tannehill still has to go out there and get the job done. Now, an interesting tidbit in this game: the Cincinnati Bengals have never won a road playoff game in franchise history. And on the last two occurrences, when the Tennessee Titans had home field advantage throughout the playoffs, both in 2000 and then in 2008, they were one and done. So something has to give this evening in Nashville, but I'm going to roll with the Titans at home by the score of 27-20. Now, tonight at Lambeau Field, you're going to have the Green Bay Packers hosting the San Francisco 49ers. And the game time temperature is idealistic of what you would expect from January football. 13 degrees tonight at kickoff. Now, there's no love lost between these two franchises. You think back for more than 2 decades now, the Packers and 49ers have really clashed in some epic battles in the postseason. Now, these two teams in particular met early in the season, and it was Green Bay that went on the road on Sunday Night Football and beat the 49ers at the buzzer with a walk-off kickoff, field goal rather, from Mason Crosby. Now, the Packers do come into this game favored by 5.5 points. Aaron Rodgers, their quarterback, more than likely is once again going to be the MVP of the league. That week off last week gave him the opportunity to rest. It also gave the rest of this team the opportunity to rest, and they got back to sit back and watch rather the 49ers go at it with the Dallas Cowboys. Now, for the Niners, their fine pass rusher, Nick Bosa, is expected to be back after suffering the head injury last week against the Cowboys. Jimmy G is going to be a go, but I'll tell you like this: If Jimmy G is going to play like he did in the fourth quarter last week against the Cowboys, the 49ers' chances in this game are going to be very limited. I think what the Niners want to do is establish their physical running game with the likes of Debo Samuel. Now, the Niners know that they can rush the passer, and that is going to be important as they try to slow down and frustrate Aaron Rodgers in this contest. It's one of those things where the Niners are game. They've won 6 games away from home this season, but the Packers are the only, excuse me, team that went undefeated at home this season. And the thing is, Aaron Rodgers has been up and down against the 49ers in the playoffs throughout his career, more down than up. But honestly, I think tonight is when he and the Packers get it done. And I'm going to take Green Bay at home by the score of 34-20. Now, tomorrow afternoon, it's going to be a clash of the Titans down in Tampa, as you're going to have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosting the Los Angeles Rams. And if you want to talk about a team excuse me, that has recently had the number of the Buccaneers, it's the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams have won 7 out of their last 8 against Tampa Bay. And since Tom Brady joined the Bucks last season, Tampa Bay is 2-0, including a victory last year at Raymond James Stadium. Now, these two teams did meet earlier this season, and one of the keys to that game was like the same key that we saw from the Rams last week or last Monday night when they beat the Arizona Cardinals. Quarterback Matthew Stafford got the ball out of his hands very quick. And that's going to be a key to this game because you look at it with that cover two, it can frustrate quarterbacks from time to time. And Stafford has to get the ball out quick. A key for the Rams in this game, no Andrew Wentworth at left tackle. And that's going to be important going up against this pass rush that the Bucks have. On the flip side, we saw the Rams run the football very effectively on Monday night with Sony Michel. And I think that their head coach, Sean McVay, wants to establish that running game in this one to kind of dictate his offense and his team. Now, the key earlier in this season when the Rams beat the Bucks, and the key last week when the Rams beat the Cardinals was the Rams basically always led in the contest, especially last week. Excuse me. In doing so, you take some of that stress off of quarterback Matthew Stafford, but things are going to be a little bit different tomorrow because now you have to deal with the Bucks and you also have to deal with Tom Brady in the playoffs. So I look at this Rams defense and it is star-studded. You're talking about Aaron Donald, Von Miller, Jalen Ramsey. They also brought in Eric Weddle recently. You also have Leonard Floyd. So there's a lot of first rounders on this defense. They've got to go out there and they're probably not as worried about the Bucks running game like people have been in the past. I know Leonard Fournette is expected to go in this contest, but nonetheless, they want to try to dictate things. And what has helped the Rams go against the Bucks is they have the athletes in their secondary to go against the talented wide receivers that Tampa Bay throws out there. It's going to be a classic chess match. It's going to be back and forth. And the thing is, at the end of the day, you simply can't bet against, or I simply don't bet against Tom Brady in January and February. Things are going to be a little bit different tomorrow because unlike last Monday night, what if the Rams fall behind by 7 or 10 points? Is Matthew Stafford going to go out there and try to take this game over by himself? And I say that because in his last 4 regular season games to end the season, he threw 8 interceptions. He was clean and crisp on Monday night versus the Cards. But Todd Bowles and this Bucks defense definitely have to make some adjustments, especially being that they lost to this Rams team earlier this season. The Bucks are all in. This is what it's all about. If you're the Rams, this is why you got Matthew Stafford to win these type of games as you're looking to make that Super Bowl run. It's going to be a back and forth, nip and tuck type affair, but I'm going to take Tampa Bay in a tight one at home by the score of 31-27. And finally, tomorrow night, a battle of Titans, no pun intended, Arrowhead, as you're going to have the Buffalo Bills clashing with the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, these two teams met last year in the AFC Championship game, and it was Kansas City that thoroughly dominated Buffalo en route to their second consecutive Super Bowl appearance. Earlier this season on Sunday Night Football, Buffalo went to Kansas City and they really dictated things, and that gave Buffalo a lot of momentum to get to this point where they're at right now. For the Bills, they're flying high because offensively, they could not have played any better than they did last Saturday night when they just straight out dominated the New England Patriots. On the flip side for the Chiefs, they're coming in offensively with a ton of confidence as well after they put up a big night versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. I look at the defenses. Which defense is going to step up and make a play and slow down the opposing offense? This Bills defense really didn't get to Patrick Mahomes last year in the AFC Championship game. They've got to put pressure on Patrick Mahomes with their front four, maybe blitz one or two linebackers and drop everybody back in coverage. They've got to be able to do that in order to rattle Mahomes. If not, they could be in for a long Sunday night. On the flip side for Kansas City's defense, they've been up and down all season. They looked solid last week against Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh's offense is nothing to write home about. So now you have to deal with an offense where Josh Allen is not only a good runner, he's a solid thrower, and he's very physical. The Bills also have the speed, and it's also going to be important for Buffalo to utilize their running game to kind of really dictate things versus this Kansas City defense. This could be a changing of the guard. We saw a changing of the guard game last week in the AFC East. A win here for Buffalo could change the guard in the AFC as a whole. And I think Buffalo gets it done. As I'm going to take the Bills to go on the road tomorrow night and knock off the Chiefs by the score of 33-28. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And those are my picks for the divisional round here in the National Football League season. Want to take the time out, as always, to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast. Excuse me. And if you like what you saw and heard today, please feel free to hit that like button as well as the subscribe button on this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I'm signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.